Welcome back to the channel. Lost Again No More. Today I wanted to highlight one of my single favorite producers, songwriters, performers ever. And I feel he will literally never get enough credit for how great he truly, truly was. And that is my man, Allen Toussaint. New Orleans producer, extraordinaire, virtuoso, just I almost just don't know even where to begin. That's why I included a bunch of records that he actually produced and worked on, like with the Meters, like basically the New Orleans house band. In my opinion, maybe pound for pound, the single greatest diverse band as far as like playing multiple styles across multiple albums, and they're so tight. I absolutely love the Meters. I love the Meters. He worked with Dr. John, which anyone who knows anything about New Orleans music, Dr. John, that flamboyant piano player who just had a signature style that no one I think ever has come close to duplicating. He is his own kind of voodoo guy out there, and love him. This album I just threw on because I know that he produced a couple of the songs that were on here, wrote some of them, but it's kind of just a New Orleans Mardi Gras mix. And let's see, what do we got? Oh yeah, he worked with Fats Domino, the iconic piano player, Blueberry Hill, Ain't That a Shame. I'm pretty sure that he played piano when he was, yeah, I do know if I remember right. Yes, in the late 50s he played piano on a Fats Domino track when he was still like 18 or 19 years old. So that's like showing the breadth of, quality of artists that he worked with. And I turn people onto this album a lot too because they don't know that Robert Palmer, the Simply Irresistible, Addicted to Love, that's more of his 80s stuff. But when he was first starting out, he's actually in a band called Vinegar Joe. And then they broke apart from there and he became a solo singer. And they had this, white guy with a really good soulful voice. And they're like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I would like to go record an album in New Orleans with the Meters, recognized as probably the best recording studio band on earth. And he wanted to record at the Meters, and what was really cool is they got Lowell George of Little Feat to play with them as well. So this album is absolutely fantastic, and it covers it's called Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, Robert Palmer, his first solo album. And that is a song written by Allen Toussaint. And all this is to say that I think that this man is one of the single greatest to ever do it. And I try to talk about it with people sometimes and like, who? Huh? And it's not just regional, limited to New Orleans. This guy was international. I'm pretty sure he died in Spain on a tour. That just could show like he was out there. He was in the scene. People knew him. He's like, I guess, a producer's producer in a way. But I love this album so much, Southern Nights. It's one of my like all-time favorite kind of R&B piano-driven kind of soul records. It's just so good. Glenn Campbell would end up recording, the country music star would end up recording a cover of Southern Nights that became a huge hit. But when you listen to Allen's Southern Nights, it sounds absolutely nothing like the Glenn Campbell song that became a hit. It's steeped in like some swampy, atmospheric, just voodoo. It's so freaking good. I'll never do justice with words how good this music is, how much it's moved me in my life. And when I without a fail, if I turn someone onto it, they're like, holy God, I need more of this guy's albums, more stuff he worked with, I believe after Hurricane Katrina, I know he made an album with Elvis Costello here. Kind of can't see it over my shoulder. And that just shows the variety. I mean, he's working with white boys, with kids down on the West Bank, like he's all bouncing around, willing to work with anyone. A guy from England, he knew when someone had real talent, and probably one of his best things too was being in the studio and knowing how to conjure up this magic by putting people in the right place, right time. Dr. John. to make more of just their singular talents. Like he could bring these people together and just make extraordinary music. I feel he never ever gets enough credit. Flip this open, check it out. I got it back there. I got Wallflowers behind it. He didn't produce that Wallflowers album. It wouldn't have shocked me if he would have. Yeah, I want to show a picture of him. Yeah, I was pretty sure on the back of this it had a great picture of him. Seriously, one of the all-time greats. I love turning people onto this album in particular. This is one that my dear neighbor Susie gave me years and years ago. After I'd helped her move, she was like, I think you need to take some of my records when I was living in New Orleans. And I remember picking this one up, and I was like, oh, this looks like a really good one, because I didn't really know a lot about Allen at the point. And she was like, that album you're holding is maybe the best album of the 300 records she had before me. She goes, I insist that you take that record. And I'm so glad she did, because when I finally delved into it, it just blew me away how good it was from front to back. Like, it's one that immediately when it goes off, I can just turn around and just play it again. And I'm one of those people that my wife would tell you, I cannot stand if something's on repeat. If I have to hear a song like twice, if we're like in a department store and they're playing the CD, you know, whatever they're in the CD, now they're not playing, they're streaming, but if something starts repeating within like 2 or 3 songs, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I just can't stand it. It's something with my anxiousness. I have to have something constantly kind of different bouncing along, but not always. This record in particular, I can listen to front to back and then put it right back on. It's that good. Along with some of, I think I've said before, like My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. That's another album I can do that with. But it's very, very rare that I can do that. Usually I've got to have something different. And yeah, I really wanted to shed a light on him, on his career. And I'm hoping that, you know, with this YouTube channel, that people can see and find some of these great albums, because I know he's got stuff on YouTube that's, you know, really good, that was never, you know, kind of released. It's just like live versions of things. He was just an unbelievably talented man that really was good with working with others, which, you know, not all producers are necessarily good with working with others, but Allen really brought the best talents out of all the people he really worked with. I can't think of an album that I've ever heard that he's produced or been on where I've been like, oh, yeah, that's okay. I'm usually like floored, like, how have I not heard this before? I'm still looking to get some, he worked with Etta James in the 80s, and I would really like to get some of those albums. I'm always kind of looking out for those Etta James albums, but I should have busted it out. I have a 7-inch Irma Thomas, you know, she's like the queen of soul of New Orleans, and he worked with her. I mean, he was just willing to work with everybody and always made their talents just shine. So I wanted to make a video, because part of the whole reason I started this channel is I would be talking about albums with people, you know, albums that we all kind of shared in common, you know, the big Touchstone records. And I would bring up, oh man, you got to get Southern Nights. You need to listen to Southern Nights. And they'd be like, the Glenn Campbell song? And I'm like, while I like that song, you know, once I knew his version and his album, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the good stuff. This is what you got to listen to. So, yep, that's my like strong recommendation for definitely an overlooked album, and an underrated album with this Robert Palmer that he helped out on. And yeah, I just really wanted to put a spotlight on him and his enormous talent. And yeah,